Hello and welcome to the LBPT Kitchen, where each week I'm going to share with you one of my delicious but nutritious recipes. Today we are going to be cooking a polenta mushroom and artichoke tart, which is super yummy. Okay, so we will need about 250 grams of chestnut mushrooms. I usually use the button mushrooms because I think they're a bit nicer. And 60 grams of mozzarella. I would usually use a ball of mozzarella, but I couldn't get any, so I've got grated mozzarella here. About 100 grams of artichokes, just grilled artichokes. 100 grams of polenta, ready cooked polenta. 400 mils of stock. About 2 teaspoons of fresh thyme, just the leaves, and then just a handful of rocket and some balsamic vinegar, and just a little bit of butter to put in the polenta when you cook it as well. Okay, so today I'm using my Arga, but usually I don't, because I don't usually have it on. You would do this just on a normal hob at a sort of medium heat. Basically, we're popping the polenta into the pan along with some stock. And we're just going to bring that up. Oh, my stuff didn't come out, hold on. Just going to bring that up to the boil, stirring it all the time. So this is the really hot plate of the Arga, so it should boil up quite quickly. I find with polenta it can sometimes get a bit explosive and sort of start bubbling up really fast. So you have to just keep an eye on it, don't walk away from the pan. Okay, so it's just starting to boil and thicken up. So I'm just going to, because we're doing it on the Arga, I'm just going to move it over to the slightly cooler plate. So you would just turn down the temperature on your hob a little bit. And it's just starting to thicken up. I want it to be quite a thick consistency because this is going to be the base for our tart. So I think this takes about 4 or 5 minutes to cook. Once it's at the thickness that we want, then we're just going to season it and add a bit of butter. So there we go, it's getting really nice and thick now. You can see there. And you could put some herbs in this if you wanted to. Flavour it up a little bit, but I just quite cook it as it is to let the other ingredients be the star. There we go, so that's really nice and thick now. So we're going to take that off the heat and just add in our butter. So a little bit of salt and a good bit of pepper in there. Just mix it all in until the butter's all melted. Okay, so now the polenta's cooked, we're just going to pop it onto a baking tray, which you could just line with greaseproof paper, just to stop it sticking. So, and we'll just spread this out. Okay, so once the polenta is spread out to form your tart base, we're just going to pop it into the oven. Now, in a normal oven, this would be at about 200 degrees centigrade. And you'd leave it in there for about 30 minutes. In the Arga, because this is hotter, it's probably going to just take about 15 or 20 minutes. But you want to just check it every now and again and make sure that it's not burning on top, obviously, but you want it sort of firm so that you can put your toppings on. Okay, so while the polenta is in the oven, we're just going to get the mushrooms ready. So about a tablespoon of olive oil, just on quite a high heat. This is the hottest part of the Arga, but if you're doing it on the hob, you just have the heat up quite high. And pop the mushrooms in there. Oh, I lost a mushroom. There we go. And I'll just grab myself a little spatula. mushrooms are just starting to sizzle away now. And then we're going to just pop the thyme leaves in there as well. Just take that little stalk out, slipped in there. I'm just going to move this over to the slightly cooler hot plate. So again, if it's on the hob, you just turn down the heat a little bit and just let the mushrooms cook, probably for 5 or 10 minutes until they're cooked properly. Just keep an eye on them. Okay, so once the mushrooms are done, are cooked, then we're just going to pop them to one side until the polenta's finished cooking. And then we're going to pop all our toppings on. Okay, so the polenta's been in for about 20 minutes now. Although, as I said before, in a conventional oven that would be about half an hour. And it's pretty firm, so it's ready to put the toppings on. So we're going to start off with the mushrooms and thyme. That squeaking in the background that you can hear is baby Monty, who's joined us from his sleep. Right, there we go, we've got the mushrooms on. And then we're going to pop some artichokes on. I really love these artichokes, so I have to hold myself back. So about 100 grams of these, which is probably about half a jar. These ones are in oil, so you want to be a little bit sparing about how many you put on, because we want it to be healthy. There we go. Okay, so last one's on there. And then I'm just going to scatter over the mozzarella. And a little bit goes a long way with the mozzarella. And if you were using mozzarella ball, you just tear the bits up and just scatter those about. Okay. There we go. So then we're just going to pop this back in the oven for about 10 minutes, or just until the mozzarella's sort of melted and starting to crisp a little bit, or however you like it. Okay, so it's been in the oven for about 10 minutes now, I think, and I think it's probably done. Yeah, that looks pretty good to me. So I'm going to pop it on this board here, and we're just going to pop some rocket on and drizzle a little bit of balsamic vinegar. So just going to scatter some rocket leaves. Seem to have giant rocket leaves here today. There we go. And then just a little drizzle of balsamic vinegar. There we go. So there we have your polenta mushroom and artichoke tart, which smells absolutely delicious.